Hello everyone, welcome to Basic Me Netta. I'm Netta and this is my review of The Sorrow of the Sea and Ring Shout. So this week I finished two books. The first one that I finished was The Sorrow of the Sea by Stephen Aryan, and this is the third book in the Nightingale and the Falcon series. It is a trilogy, so this is the last one in the series. And this is a historical fiction fantasy set in the Mongol Empire around the 13th century, and we follow what is then Persia, but in the Mongol takeover, like Mongol invasion. So the first book starts 1260 in the year 1260, and then the last book ends in the year 1263. And we follow about a few of the main characters, and we get some new characters in the second book. But in this book, this third book, we are basically following all those characters that we have been introduced to, and we are getting a closure to their stories. It is very graphic, as it is a war story, and there's a lot of graphic things that do happen to this story. And so yeah, go into it knowing there's war and death and limbs getting cut off and those kind of things. I don't want to say much about the plot because this is the last book in the series, but the writing is very much the same as the first and the second book. We are getting the ending for each character, as I said before, but is that the ending that we all wanted from this book? I just found that the ending was a bit blah to me. I wanted more because, like, we took so long to get to this place, yet we got that ending. Yeah, I was not satisfied with the ending. I just found like we went so long within like the wars and battles. And yes, I understand this is a empire and it's supposed to, like, it's a war story, but yet I was not happy. Okay, I'm just gonna put it. I was not happy with the ending. I get that it's a journey, but it wasn't what I thought it should be. I don't know. I just found that I really liked the first book, and then his writing changed a little bit. Stephen Aryan's writing changed a little bit with the second book. Jeez, like, the last book spent so much about the war and character-driven plot lines instead of actually giving us a closure. So for that reason, I was not happy as much as I thought it would be. I don't know, maybe it's been like, because it's been so long that I was in that mood for the first book, that I just didn't like this world anymore. I don't know. I was really interested in it in 2023 when I first read the first book, which is when it came out. And then we had to wait another year for the next one, and then we had to wait another year for the next one. So I didn't read the second book until this year. So I decided to do a reread of the first book and then read the second and third book together, all at the same time. But when I read the first book again, like reread it, I didn't feel the same way as I did the first time that I read it. It was good, but I didn't have that like spark that I had with it the first time. So I don't know. Maybe I would have had a different experience if I had read all three when I was in that mood. The first time that I read the first book, I was really, really into it. I guess also I've read so many other books that I'm at this point might have changed my taste a little bit. I don't know. With that being said, it was good. I gave the first book a 5, and then I gave the second book a 3.5. And this one is a 3 to me. So in total, I think this series was a 3 for me. It was entertaining. It was okay. I just found that the journey was a little too long in the war zone. I understand that this is a war book, but I wanted more fantasy as well. We get fantasy, but it's just more character and then a little bit of fantasy and then war. So there's a lot of horrific things in it that I didn't care for. I was just like, there's no need for these kind of graphic description. Just move on. We know that person is dead. We know this happened. The only part that I was like, okay, there's a reason for that lingering in the second book. But then I was just like, all the other ones are not necessary. So that's just my opinion. You might have a better experience with this series. So if you want to pick it up, go ahead and try it. It was a good series to read. Then the second book that I finished this week was an actual novella. It wasn't a full book, it's a novella. It is Ring Shout by P Djeli Clark. And this is a historical fiction fantasy with a bit of, well, not a bit. It's a horror historical fiction fantasy. It's very much the same way as the other one where limbs get cut off and people get killed and those kind of things. You know, there's just horror in this and graphic things that comes to this as well. It's so small, yet there's so much into it. It is set in 1915 US, and it is about the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, being demons, monsters kind of thing, and they are trying to bring hell to Earth. And then we followed a bunch of characters who are hunting these clan demons, and the story goes from there. I don't want to say so much about it because it's such a short book, yet it's really good, and it was so interesting to read. It was captivating and disturbing at the same time because of all the gruesome things that happen in here and all the bad things that happen to people and their sadness. And I just find that P Djeli Clark makes me read because of his writing. I don't really care if it is a character driven or if it's a plot driven story. I just want to read his stories, and he just says something about this writer and this author. I just enjoy it. And yeah, I'm quite happy with this. In a way that it was enjoyable for a horror book that had this really awful situation, and like it's history's bad things and you explained in horror. Yeah. So I would say try it and see how you like it. Yeah, you know the story behind it. We all learned the history of it. So go into it knowing that it is sad and those kind of things. It is a horror book, but there's fantasy in it as well. And it's very well written. So if you want a short book novella that has horror elements with history, pick up Ring Shout by P Djeli Clark. And yeah, that's those are the two books that I read this week. Well, finished reading. I'm still reading Middle Game and the Ballad of Prellis graves. Um, so I will probably be talking about those in my wrap up, maybe. So yeah, let me know down below what you've read so far for the spooky season, or any fantasy that you read so this month that you want to share. And thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.